That's rather provocative commentary from 1957.
But apt.
Welcome, one and all. It is a Wednesday in the lead up to the championship game, Lions and Niners. And, we've got a lot to talk about today. We'll keep an eye on the Harbaugh stuff for you. Who the hell knows? Honestly, I'm at a point I don't care.
They've been so close. We're now at, I think, about 3rd and goal.
Yeah, I don't
from
care.
the one.
He's in L.A., he's in Ann Arbor, he might be in Atlanta. I don't care. Wake me up.
He took his wife.
Wake me up when he does something. I think the idea is people get in a room with this guy and go, I ain't handing this nutcase a $2 billion business. What are you, nuts?
No, you're right. I think in the end it's just going to be passed.
And sanctions. All right, so Rico Beard has the lead today. Rico wants to talk quarterbacks.
I do.
So here's me turning my microphone off. He wouldn't share with me this topic. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen. And if at any point I find this topic to be unscrupulous,
not unscrupulous,
or dull,
I ran it past the pastor of the show and he was like, you know what? That's a good point. Listening to Lions fans, the feeling is high right now. Lions fans feel very confident. And one of the reasons Lions fans feel confident is because, similar to Baker Mayfield, I don't think that they respect the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers in Brock Purdy. When you think Brock Purdy, most people think he's trash, he's lucky. There's a person that I know who says, well, anybody could be quarterback for San Francisco and get the job done. That would be you, Mike. And I do wonder if, as a Lions fan, the reason why you feel confident, is it because you don't respect the quarterback that is Brock Purdy for San Francisco? So I would like to know, 248-539-9797. Is your confidence because of that? Because driving in, I'm listening to Doug and Gator's show, and there was a guy saying, we got the best, we got the better offense over them. We have this, we have that. We got Jared Goff. They have Brock Purdy. So my question is that, because when you look at the numbers, something funny happens. You want to play a blind taste test, Mike?
Yeah.
I learned this from the best.
Am I allowed to turn my mic on?
Oh, you were allowed to have your mic on the whole time.
I'm back, Kenny. Yeah,
right.
no, I love these.
All right.
Player A, player B.
Player A or player B.
Okay.
Player A, 4,280 passing yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, a 69.4 completion rate, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a QB rating of 113, 72 plays of 20 yards or more this season, 14 plays of 40 yards or more.
That's player A.
That's player A.
All right, player B.
Player B, 4,575 yards passing, 7.6 yards per attempt, 67.3% completion rate, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a QB rating of 97.9. He has 69 plays of 20 yards or more, 9 plays of 40 yards or more.
Player A is Purdy. Player B is Goff.
Player A is Purdy. Player B is Goff.
You know what the separator was?
Way to go.
I was really listening and thinking the 9.6 to 7.5 yards per pass. Okay.
So Goff has more passing yards, but Purdy does a lot more. The funny thing about it, Mike, is when you look at these numbers, these two guys, to me, they're the Spider-Man meme. They both run the same. They're the product of their offense. They're perfect for their offense. They get the job done. Is either going to the Hall of Fame? Probably not. That's a safe bet. But for everybody who says, well, Purdy's no good, Purdy's Goff. Goff is Purdy. That's how I see this thing. So I just wanted to point those numbers out. You want to do another one? Just an extra. I got three more people.
I am here for every player A, player B blind fire, because this all started probably 15 years ago. And you would do this with fantasy football. Mm-hmm. Hey, player A is this, player B is this. And you'd be like, wait, that piece of crap guy I'm taking in the 11th round is better than the guy in the first round? I love the blind taste test. Yeah, let's do it.
4,516 passing yards, 7.6 yards per attempt, completion rate of 69.5, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, QB rating 105.9, 62 plays over 20 yards or more, 7 plays over 40.
All right, that's player A.
Player B, 4,159 yards, 7.2 yards per attempt, 64.2 completion ratio, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, QB rating of 96.1, 55 plays of 20 or more, 7 plays of 40 or more.
Is player A?
If you get one of these, Mike, I'm walking out and you're just doing the show till 6.
Well, I'm wondering if you're setting this up as a championship game deal. So is player...
No, it's not.
Okay, I was going to say is player A Mahomes and player B Lamar. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Player A was Dak Prescott. Player B was Jordan Love.
Wow. And mind you, Love's numbers were basically week 9 on, where he went 22 touchdowns and 1 pick. All right, so the question you're asking is, have Lion fans gone too far on Purdy slander and now too far on Goff love?
Yeah.
Which is funny because Lion fans, I'm not doing receipts. I don't care. I don't have time for it. It's meaningless. What I'm saying is doing this radio show on a day in and day out basis. So many people were against Goff and against paying him. Now we're chanting his name, which is fine. That's how fans go. That's how life goes. But in the process of loving your own guy, have you gone too far slandering the other guy?
Right.
The reality is Purdy and Goff are probably way closer to each other than anyone would like to admit, myself included.
Yeah, they're roommates.
Hey, here's the key. Bias is one thing, but when you admit to a bias, at least I know the terms of engagement. I'm admitting to you. Like, I've taken great pleasure in busting your balls with Brock Purdy.
And I think that's where a lot of Lions fans, believe it or not, Mike, listen to the show and hang on your every word. And a lot of people are saying, well, he's no good. It's like, well, no. I've had phone calls. I've had personal people like, well, he's no good. He does this. He does that. It's like, but he leads a team. Well, anybody could do it.
See, like, the difference between me and then someone who apparently can no longer be trusted with a word they say, Ryan Clark, I don't come on the air and pretend. Did you see what Ryan Clark had to say? Ryan Clark said it was like the biggest thing that made him angry was having to pretend all year that Brock Purdy was in the MVP race, how he had to go along with it. I'm sorry, did your producers have a gun to your head, Ryan?
Yeah.
You're a former player. You don't... Well, I'm sorry, what? We can't talk about Purdy in honest terms? Ryan Clark basically just outed himself. And by the way, I think Ryan Clark did a decent job on TV. I say did in past tense. I can no longer trust anything he ever says. He's openly admitting to you he lied to you all fall. Meanwhile, I'm the guy saying, if Brock Purdy wins MVP, I'm Diana Ross. It's ridiculous.
So he's the black Carissa Thompson.
Think about that. That statement's unbelievable.
It is, but I'm not shocked.
David, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I did see. Where he was just like, we acted like he should have been in the conversation the whole time. And
at no point were you available for comment, Ryan? So my point is, I've enjoyed it, but under no circumstances do I think he's terrible.
Right.
But I think he's highly insulated in a way that Goff is.
Right.
Now, if you asked me 1v1 who I'd rather have Jared Goff. Is some of that a bias that he's our guy? Probably. Again, I'm admitting it to you. But do I think you would suffer that much if you had Purdy here?
Right. If the quarterback swap teams.
Right. No, because the reality is these two teams from a offensive roster construction standpoint are quite similar.
Yeah.
They are. So I don't think it's as big of a gap as Lion fan does. I'm fine if they go, this is my guy. I'm riding with my guy. But what I'm not comfortable with is Brock Purdy had one bad game in the rain without an all-pro player. I'm not ready to tell you that that's Brock Purdy forever.
Right.
Because it's the same reason we sat here and Jared Goff had a terrible game and you don't write your guy off.
Right.
I think the recency bias is incredibly strong headed into this game. All the Niners' body of work is out the window. They didn't look dominant against the Packers. Mind you, I think the Niners played their C- game, still won.
I think you're giving them credit for more. You're grading them a lot
Call
better
it an
than I
F.
would.
They're Ferris Bueller. They failed out. They still won. If they play like that again, will the Lions beat them? Yes.
Yeah.
Openly say it, but I'm not in the business of banking on the team I'm playing have the worst day of their life back-to-back weeks. Much less if the Lions go out and play anything other than their A game. I don't think you're winning. You need to play Dan Campbell. You don't like me? You don't respect me? Cool. But Dan Campbell, your fearless leader, said the same. We must play the best game of our season. And he's right. You will have to play the way you played against the Chargers, which to me was the best game you played all year. You want to say the Cowboy game was and the refs effed you? We can do that. But you got to play your A game. I don't think you played an A game last week. I don't think you played an A game against the Rams.
No. Two solid Bs.
You played well.
Two solid B games.
You got to go best day ever. That's what it's got to be.
Right.
So your point about the quarterbacks, let's have the conversation. Because I'm willing to admit these two quarterbacks are closer to each other than I think fans are willing to say.
Yeah.
I can admit it to you because there's no sense in not. Like,
right.
What hill am I dying on?
Right. And it's just funny, but it's just Lions fans out there. I mean, do you think that Jared Goff is head and shoulders that much better than Brock Purdy?
No.
248-539-9797.
And by the way, let's not do this game about one guy's got all the toys and the other guy has none. That's just not true. Oh, he has Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, CMC. Big facts. Got you. Goff has superior O-line, Sam Laporta, wash with Kittle. I think Laporta's probably better than Kittle at this point. You got Amon-Ra, which is a wash for Debo. And you got a pair of running backs that equate to CMC. Don't come on this show and paint that picture. You're both living privileged lives on offense. Big time. 248-539-9797. We get to your phone calls next. I like this topic.